Hi, we are going to be learning about dividing decimals by powers of 10 today. And this is going to feel good because it's very similar to multiplying by powers of 10 with decimals, just moving in a different direction. So let's take a look at our list of steps. First of all, every time we ask ourselves, is this going to make the number go bigger or smaller? And if we move a decimal point to the right, it makes a number get bigger. This number, if it's 358 and 1/10, if we move the decimal point to the right, it becomes 3,581. So is an answer going to be bigger or smaller? If we can't remember, if you get into that place where you're like, I can't remember, does dividing mean go to the right? Does dividing mean go to the left? You ask yourself, is your answer going to get bigger or smaller? In this case with division, your answer is going to get smaller. And smaller means you're moving the decimal to the left. So last time when we were multiplying, we were moving the decimal point to the right. This time we're moving it to the left. All right. So then we know we're going to the left here, right? This way. And then we check our zeros in that power of 10 to find out how many places, how many place value spaces are we moving to the left. And then in this case, the answer is 1. So we check the zeros to see how many place value steps to move. And then finally, we move our decimal point. So you have a whole page to start with the regular place value chart and the arrows, and you're practicing like looking at it and seeing if you multiply 1/10 times 10, it becomes 1 because 10/10 is 1. If you multiply 1 times 10, it's 10, and it moves to the tens place. So here we are going. We're going to multiply times 10. That's going to make this number, we're going to divide by 10. It's going to make this number smaller. That means we're moving to the left 1 space. So our answer will be 35 and 81 hundredths. Okay? Again, this is division. The decimal point is going to move to the left. There's no decimal in this problem, but I know that at the end of every ones place, whether we write it in or not, there's a decimal there, so I can write it in for myself. I know I'm going to move to the left because my answer is going to get smaller because I am dividing it up into parts. It's going to get smaller, 1, 2, 3 place value spaces. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put my decimal point here. Now, because there's nothing in the ones place, I'm just going to put a 0 there to show that we are working only with 721 thousandths all of a sudden, right? Okay, dividing, it's going to be smaller. I'm going to go to the left, 1, 2 spaces to the left. Here's my place value, 1, 2. Here's where it's going to end up. So again, I'll put that 0 in, 416 thousandths. And here, I'm dividing. It's going to be smaller. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 place values over. 1, 2, 3. And just like on multiplying, if you move a space over and there's nothing there, you have to fill it in with 0. In this case, it's on the other end of the number. So this one we would rewrite as, this one is 245 10 thousandths because this is the thousandths and that would make it 10 thousandths. All right, here's another one. Gonna get smaller. We know that decimal point exists there even if it's not showing. going to move one space over. 6 2/10. And this problem is going to be smaller. 1, 2, 1, 2, 7, and 8,622 10,000ths. Now, I wanted to show you one more thing. Sometimes they give you a mystery to solve. So let's look at the mysteries for a second. Sometimes you get a problem and it says some number divided by 100 equals 421 2/10. And if this is the smaller number, actually let's do that so that it's easier for us to see. We know that this is a division problem and this answer is smaller than what we started with. So it says division and we think to ourselves, oh, smaller, that means move to the left. But we can't just follow that formula. Say, oh, our answer is smaller. But we know that it's 1 is the only number, or the only digit here besides these zeros. So these same digits are going to be there. So I'm going to write them down. And my decimal point was here, but the number was smaller by 2 decimal spaces. So I'm actually going to move them to the right to get the answer to the mystery question. So part of the reason that one of my steps is ask yourself if the number is going to be bigger or smaller is it's fine to memorize. Multiplying makes it bigger, except for when you're multiplying a decimal by a decimal. It's fine to say, oh, dividing always makes it smaller. But when you get these mystery problems, you have to actually think about it and figure it out. And when you think about it, you have to say, okay, well, if this is the smaller number, that means that's the bigger number. So I can copy these digits, but then I have to figure out where the decimal is going to go. So hopefully dividing decimals by powers of 10 feels pretty comfortable to you. And most of your problems are going to look like these ones, where it's pretty straightforward. You count your zeros to see how many place value spaces you move, but then you might get into these mystery problems and you can figure them out. You use the same thinking process to figure it out, okay? So you have a few more problems in your math journal this time. Only 3, not as many as last time. I want you, and I think those will go pretty quickly for you. So you will get your math journals out and get down to work and whip out those 3 pages. And I hope you have fun. To me, this is fun stuff, moving the decimal around. And it's going to help us with measurement, which is converting measurement back and forth. And you will see how easy measurement conversions are going to be once you understand how to do this. Have a good afternoon.